Hello, how are you?
And you?
I'm good. After the 15th of March, we survived.
It's, uh, yeah, it wasn't like see?
Oh, can you hear me well, Izan?
I can. Can you?
Yes,
Can you?
yes. Yeah, I can. It was just cutting a little bit, but yeah, seems to be fine now.
If anyone has any problem hearing us, could you please tell us, or if it's all okay, just
Seems to
giving us.
be okay now, Izan. Don't worry. Yeah, probably just my earphones.
Okay, perfect.
I was just watching you guys explaining about the course is always, helpful. So, so I know more about the course when I discuss the strategy with my clients. So yeah, that
Yeah,
was,
right. We're
yeah,
all something that I think probably.
Isa, yeah, I lost you, but now, yeah, seems to be fine.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a connection issue. Sorry. Uh,
That's okay.
don't know Ju. She's been here with us for a while now, one of our great partners from Seven Migration. Ju, I would like you to talk a little bit about you.
I think you're all tired about me, huh? Now, yeah, my name is Juliana, and one of the
Still don't know you.
Yes, of course. So I'm one of the, registered migration agents at Seven Migration. I joined the team in 2019. And yeah, happy agent, always trying to help you guys. Yeah, so that's all I can talk about myself.
So Seven Migration is one of our partners here. We always like same students to talk to them. They always give people really good advice. And you joined in 2019, but you have been working with migration for a long time, right?
Yeah, 12 years. Yes, yes, 12 years.
So guys, you can trust because like it's a lot of knowledge. Yeah.
Thank you, Isa.
So let's talk about IT and pathways to migrate to Australia. So if I study the Bachelor of IT, am I eligible for a migration pathway?
I would say the course by itself, I wouldn't say that just with the course the person will be eligible to apply because nowadays it's not just about courses, but it's about experience as well. But definitely it's one of, I would say it's a very good pathway, if not one of the best pathways that we have around. So definitely if someone needs, wishes to study a bachelor, in Australia, IT would be one of the bachelors that we're going to certainly discuss, unless, of course, the person doesn't like it. But we have, as I forgot her name. I'm so sorry, Miha, right?
What?
Yeah, Miwa. As she was explaining, yes, we definitely have more than one occupation if you consider about IT. So IT is very, when I talk
What?
about IT, it's very exactly, it's very general. So we have a few occupations on national demand, a few occupations that are not on national demand. But yeah, we certainly have more than one field, in IT, if you know what I mean, that we can always discuss about.
Would it be possible for you to talk just a little bit and maybe mention like what kind of positions of IT are available or are in demand?
Yes, definitely. So we have a few. We have the systems analyst and the ICT business analyst. So I'm talking about the ones listed in the national demand list, which is the medium and long term skilled occupation list. So we had the systems analyst, business analyst. We had the software engineer is the same group as the analyst programmer and developer programmer as well. One of the questions that we've been discussing a lot about is the multimedia specialist as well, which is very related, to the game programming that she was explaining about, and also the computer network and systems engineer. So those are the well-known occupations on national demand, but we do have, a lot more. And some of them, they are related. They are, within the same, occupations group. So they are quite similar. Yeah, but those are the most, popular ones.
Did you feel, you like from your experience and the contacts you have with this, did you feel the coronavirus, like the pandemic situation and the necessity to deal with all these devices, has it changed anything with the IT pathways?
It was already, the career of the future, but yes, certainly, it gives us more certainty about, the need of, IT professionals in the future. If I was the one choosing a new career, nowadays I would certainly think about IT. Yeah.
That's great. So if there's anyone watching us because they're feeling kind of a bit lost and they don't know what to do, welcome to the IT world.
Yeah. Yes, certainly.
And if you're going to help friends and families with technology, you know.
Yeah.
Could you explain a little bit the migration possibilities for someone who studied this Bachelor of IT?
Yeah, certainly. So the thing with IT is it depends on the person's background. If someone has, a lot of experience in IT, of course, it depends on the occupation. We need to assess that on a case-by-case basis. But if someone has an experience in IT, if the person does not have a qualification, from back home, the person could potentially study a diploma level qualification only to have, a migration pathway in Australia.
Bachelor.
Yes, but if the person does not have experience, then the bachelor is the best pathway to follow. And the thing is, the reason why I'm talking about experience is just that many visas around, and especially, the skills visas, they rely on a skills assessment. The person, in order to be eligible to apply for a skills visa, the person needs to, the applicant needs to obtain a positive skills assessment. And the assessing authority for IT is Australian Computer Society, the ACS. Yes, and the ACS will always ask for experience in order to recognize, to issue the positive, a positive outcome. So just so, I can give you, an example. If someone has a diploma level qualification, in order to obtain a positive skills assessment, the person needs 5 years of work experience in the field. So the experience does not need to be post-qualification, but the person needs, 5 years of experience. If someone completes a bachelor in Australia, then, the experience post-qualification would be 1 year only. If the bachelor is, comparable to a bachelor in Australia, and of course it was completed back home, then 2 years should be enough, should suffice. So yes, the most common mistake that I can see, when I, of course, talk with my clients on the consultations is that they believe that because IT or some of the, ICT occupations, they are listed as on national demand in Australia, it's just a matter of studying a diploma and they'll be able to apply for a permanent visa. So that's one of the most common mistakes. If the person does not have experience, the bachelor is the course to go.
So a diploma wouldn't be enough.
Yes,
also,
no.
I think you can talk more about this. If they finish the bachelor, they can apply for the 485 for the work, right?
Certainly. So they can apply for a graduate visa. The bachelor will give them, at least 2 years of the graduate visa in the post-study stream. And depending on, where they will study, then they might be eligible to extend this graduate visa for a year if they study in regional areas, 1 to 2, additional years. Yes. And if the person has previous experience and the person completes a diploma level qualification, this person may be eligible as well to apply for a graduate visa, but that would be via the different stream, which is the graduate work stream. So the graduate visa has 2 streams. So basically, if you don't have experience, go through the bachelor. If you can do the package, diploma and then the bachelor, as she explained before, which is a very good pathway. So
their diploma is embedded in the bachelor.
Yes, but I mean, sometimes they don't know what they want. So they don't know if they'll get used to the IT, so they can go, they can enroll in a diploma to see if they like it. And then they can move forward with the bachelor and they will, get some credits and etc. as she explained before. Yeah, but if the person has experience, then, the diploma might suffice.
Perfect. And Ju, do they need, can they apply like independently or do they need like a sponsor? How does it work for them?
Yeah, so skilled visas, they're all independent. So we have the skill independent visa, which, as the name says, it's independent. It's based on the person's profile and points on a points test. So it's a points tested visa. We have the skilled state nominated, which is also, independent, but they need a state nomination, but they don't rely on companies or employers. And the skilled provisional visa, same thing. With the sponsor, yes, they do have another pathway via sponsor. But yeah, they can have more than one pathway. They might be on a sponsor trying for a skilled visa. But yes, depending on the person's profile, yes, they may be able, they may be eligible to apply for a skilled visa or to try an invitation for a skilled visa, and also they can be sponsored and have a pathway to apply for a PR.
Okay, and what is the difference between studying, like completing your whole course in a regional area, or in a big city like Melbourne and Sydney?
Yes. So if you study in regional area, definitely you're going to get more points for that. So one of the, the benefits will be extra points for studying regional Australia. If the occupation, that's a little bit, technical, but even if your occupation is listed in the medium and long-term list, meaning that you may be able to compete for an invitation on a skilled independent visa, which is the, let's say, national visa. If your occupation is also listed in one state but specifically for regional areas, you may be able to, you certainly maximize your chances of getting an invitation because you're going to have more than one option of skilled visa. So let's give an example. So the occupation is on the medium long-term list, but it's also listed in South Australia for the state nominated visa, of course, for the whole state, and also for a regional visa within the state. South Australia is all regional. So if the person is there, is studying there, the person most likely will meet the requirements of the state in order to invite this person. So the states, they have what we call state nomination criteria. So this can be, you need to be here, you need to study here, you need to work here. So normally they have a graduate pathway. So if they study in a regional area or, in a specific state where the occupation is also on demand there, they will have more options, of skilled visa to apply for.
Oh, okay. I'm just sorry, Jewel. Like, oh, yeah, we have already done with nursing. Yeah, so today is all about IT. And because Miwa was mentioning it, and then you kind of mentioning it a little bit about it too, because their bachelor has two specialization streams, so they can do mobile app development or the gaming programming. So do you think if the student takes one of this or the general Bachelor of IT without any specialization, which one would that be one that's more appropriate or not?
It's hard to say. Yeah, I would have to assess that, more in detail. So the thing is, the ACS, the Australian Computer Society, when assessing the person's qualification, they will check if that's a major or minor in IT. Definitely that's major IT. But they will also check if the qualification is closely related to the nomination occupation. So it really depends on, which occupation the person wishes to nominate it on. And for that, we need to check the person's background as well. So I would say for a multimedia specialist, both of them should be fine.
Okay, and because we're talking about the society, the Australian Computer Society, is it necessary for migration purposes that the student took a course that's accredited, or it doesn't make it a difference?
No. It does make a difference, but they don't need to complete an accredited course. No.
Mm-hmm. And let's say, because we were kind of discussing it before too, so if I decided to change everything and start my career in IT, I still have chances to migrate, right?
Certainly, yes. But then, the person needs to go through a bachelor or master's, yes.
Yeah, so that's the question I was going to ask you that I got from a student. So if I don't have a bachelor related to IT, but I do a master's in IT, can I still migrate?
Yes, you can, yes.
Okay, but then again, case to case, work experience and...
Not really. The level of qualification required by ACS is bachelor or higher. So if it's a bachelor in IT or a master's in IT, the person, should be eligible to proceed. The experience will be the same. So if the person completes the bachelor or master's in Australia, then 1 year post qualification. If the bachelor or the master was back home, that would be 2 years. But the experience would be the same. But yes, so it depends on the entry requirements for the master. So that's, you can talk more about that because I don't know. I don't deal with the schools on a daily basis. But in terms of ACS and visa requirements, yes, it could be the masters, yes, without the bachelor.
Yeah, like the entry requirement sometimes changes from institution to institution. So if there's anyone interested, we can check in the institution you're interested in, see what the entry requirements are. Jules, let's suppose the student applied for the 485. So a student is currently on the 485 and the goal is to migrate. Do they need to have a specific job?
Really, but again, it depends on the person's profile. So if the person does not have an experience and completed a bachelor here in Australia, the experience will dictate the occupation that the person will be nominated. So the thing with IT is the same, business administration or marketing or other occupations as well. The qualification by itself does not dictate, the occupation that the person can be nominated. That will be a combination of experience with qualification. So some IT courses, they'll be very, general courses, like information technology in general. And depending on which, depending on the person's experience, then the person can be nominated as A or B. So it is really about the experience in the end. It's not just about the course, but the course is important because again, ACS will check if it's major or minor in IT and also closely related. And that would be like a percentage of subjects more related to the occupation or not. That it's a very, very specific assessment. If you guys want to know more about the ACS assessment, they have the guidelines in their website. It's like well explained. You can try to understand how they assess your case. But yes, it really depends on the experience.
Yeah, or I would like suggest also contacting you guys, because then you will analyze the person's CV and see the experience the person has and try to like find the best pathway for that particular person.
Yes, and we need to be, in talking about assessment, we need to, again, we need to be very careful because they subdivide the occupations in IT in a way that it's a little bit excessive, subdivision, because lots of IT professionals, they work in more than one occupation. If you think about the tasks of each occupation, and sometimes it's just a matter of assessing the case and checking the best occupation for them, and try to explore the tasks that are more related to that occupation than others. And so yeah, it's quite normal for IT professionals that they started working, let's say, as a system analyst, and then they moved towards the analyst programming or something like that. So we need to be very careful because some occupations are on national demand, some occupations are not, and the assessment will take that into account. So we need to try to put everything, let's say, put all of the eggs in the same basket, if you know what I mean. So yes, and sometimes one occupation is on the national list and one occupation is not, but they are part of the same group, so they are quite similar. And we need to, of course, try to work on that in a way that the occupation that gives the person more options will be the one that the person will be nominated.
Okay. Is there any specific English requirement, Jules, for the application of this kind of visas?
For the ACS, I mean, the skills assessment, no. A skilled visa would be, a competition based on points. So yeah, better English, more points. Yeah, but there is no such requirement if you think about the Australian Computer Society. Yes, for example, the engineers, they need the English as step, action one, step one.
Yeah, so yeah, but like the higher your position and your ranking, of course, the better your English needs to be.
Yeah, but again, the points test, it really depends. If the person has many years of experience, the person will have more points in the experience, criteria, and then in this case, the person doesn't need to get, a very, high score on an English test. So it really depends.
Okay. Ju, I have a question here. I think, um, what could happen if I apply to a course, for example, at CBD and change for university at regional area? How the immigration sees it? I think it would change if it's a state nomination.
Uh, it's not about how the immigration sees it. It's about what are the benefits of moving to a regional area. So if the course is a 2 years course and the person already completed 1 year and the person, goes to a regional area, then the person won't get the extra 5 points because, the person hasn't completed the 2 years there. But it depends on the state requirements or state nomination, criteria in order to nominate this person. So if the state has, requires a 1 year study in the state, then 1 year should be enough, even if the course is a 2 years course. So it really depends on many factors. It's hard to, to get into detail with that. So yeah, so it depends on when, the person will move to the regional area. But in general terms, I would say if you are planning to study a 2 years course, and I'm talking about the 2 years, not the 3 years, but the 2 years course, ideally you would move to a regional area, to start and finish the course there.
Okay. Yeah, I think Thais is saying AIT is not accredited. However, all students that apply after bachelor got it. Someone mentioned it as well, and then
not a problem.
Towards the obtaining the certification. I see some questions here, but are not related to IT. So I would suggest you guys to check our other lives because, like, Juliana has already helped us a lot with migration pathways. So if you have any questions about IT, or this live again, guys, this live is going to be saved in our IG. So if you have any questions, you can contact us or Juliana 7 Migration. We can put you in contact with them as well. As she has been saying, most of the times here it's going to be case by case, right?
Yeah.
Because
Isa, and if you allow me to, let me just talk, briefly about the sponsorship as well. So the good thing, not just about a sponsorship, but also about the ACS. So the ACS is one of the authorities that will validate, or you can obtain a positive skills assessment based on experience only. But then you need to have at least 8 years, 6 to 8 years of experience in order to get this recognition without having a diploma or a bachelor in IT. So it's one of the authorities that the course, of course, it will help the person, a lot, but it's not mandatory towards getting a positive skills assessment. In terms of sponsorship, ACS, the skills assessment is not a requirement. So if someone has 5 years of work experience in one of the occupations on the medium and long-term list, for example, the person could be sponsored by, by a company in Australia, and this person will be eligible after 3 years. And again, I'm talking about, in the most common scenario, after 3 years to be, would be eligible to be nominated on a permanent visa. So we are talking a lot about the ACS, but the skills assessment is not always, a requirement. It depends on the visa that you wish to apply for. And yes, we have many, IT professionals being sponsored and companies bringing, foreign workers on sponsorship visas. So it's one of the, I would say, one of the professions that is very common to have, to work on a sponsorship process where the company never had this person working for them, but, they just hired this person from offshore. So the person can be sponsored based on 5 years experience. And if the person has a bachelor, which is equivalent, comparable to a bachelor in Australia, then 2 years of experience should suffice.
Okay. I think we have a question here, like what are the IT occupations in demand? Is there any issue that it likes more? I don't want to use the word ease, very particular again, but I don't know, is there anyone that's more popular or the demand is higher?
I would say always refer to the medium and long-term skilled occupation list. If the occupation is on national, demand on the federal list, then it means we have more chances of getting, a visa, or you have more visa options in general. in order to apply for a permanent visa. So if you go to the medium and long-term skilled occupation list, you can clearly see the IT occupations, because you'll be able to see in the third column Australian Computer Society as the assessing authority. So this is an IT occupation. And also, if you go to the ACS website, to their guidelines, they have the UNSCO information about the occupations, and on the first page, you'll be able to see what is on national demand or not. It's quite clear, the information. But I wouldn't compare them, because I think they're all in the same page, the ones that are listed in the medium and long-term skilled occupation list.
That work experience here plays a big role. So, we are about to get cut off. So, Ju, I would like to thank you very much one more time for helping us.
Thank you.
Saved. If anyone wants to watch.
Oh, thank you so much, Isa.
Okay, yeah, I have to save it. Bye, guys.